get to 5 reasons Jebao is in the news. You won't believe number 2.
Number 2. Here we go. Being hypocritical.
So we've talked about Jebao in the past. They're a Chinese company that has been making pumps for the aquarium world for a long time. And when they first came out, they seemed kind of crappy. And then very quickly they became less crappy. They just started to work, and they're like if you want to make a standing wave, they're one of my favorite pumps for making a standing wave in a tank. And their app is a little weird, but the pumps never die. They just kind of work, and they make a gyre, which I think is fine. And we've talked about in the past the idea of, do you want to buy a really expensive pump every 5 years, or do you want to replace a very inexpensive pump every 3, or more? And so, that math is up to you. Yeah. But so we'll tell it. Go ahead.
I was just going to say with me, it's interesting because, there's me as the hobbyist, and then there's me getting to play with other people's money.
Right.
So if someone comes to me and they're wanting a $15,000, $25,000, $35,000 plus aquarium, I'm generally going to, up in the aquarium for circulation, I'm generally going to use things like MP40s, MP60s. I like them a lot. I have not had, it's funny, I've been around Vortex for 15 years.
Since they began, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think which is what I always do. I gave them a few years in the very beginning because I don't I've been bitten real hard by trying something new. And then every time anything's new, it's got to work the corks out. But I haven't had bad luck with them. No, you know what I mean? Like if you get
work the corks out. The corks? What do you
and gluons and Bose, Higgs and Bose particles?
Oh, the quarks?
Quarks.
Oh, I thought you said corks. I can't understand.
Work the corks out.
Your thick Southern drawl.
Yeah, sure. No, and I love them, and they have their time and place. Certainly, there hasn't been a whole ton of innovation. I see that argument, but at the same time too, I don't know. Well, the Mobius can be frustrating sometimes. There's parts of them that could be shored up. Some people talk about the magnets. I say the magnets are cheap.
We're getting ahead of ourselves here because
sorry about
what's going on, right? And on that note, though, every pump's got its problems, and it's
for sure.
And the thing we've been talking about on the show lately has been let's make work. Let's be happy with what we've got and make it work instead of tearing it down and bitching about what we don't have, right?
Yeah.
We all try different stuff. I'm using a bunch of CJ pumps. CJ. And I'm setting them up, some new ones up for some stuff I'm doing. And I really like them, man. They're easy to connect to their app, and they're powerful.
Wait. We're still ahead of ourselves.
Oh.
The issue is that Jebao came out with something that is very much like an MP, a Vortech.
A Vortech. It's
magnetically coupled and all that.
It's got a dry side and a wet side. And on the dry side, it's also got some integrated suction cups. And you can't get them in the States yet. But people are getting them on Alibaba and stuff.
Don't you think that that's because they're worried about that copyright infringement?
I don't know. Maybe they're trying their easy market first to get feedback from them, because that's one thing Jebao seems to do is they get feedback and then they change their pump.
Or to be cynical, they're like, we're only releasing these in China and other places, and if you want to sue us here, I feel like they're trying to dip their toe in and see if they get sued.
Well, they can't get sued in China because it's a different patent system there. And who knows? I don't know. I think the Chinese market's probably huge. So it's like Apex going into other country markets. That's harder than it is just to do your own country. So maybe that's it, but it doesn't matter. You could still get them, and people are getting them, and they're like $100. It's like they have an MP10 version right now, and a MP40 version right now. They don't have a big one yet.
I used to despise Jebao products.
Yeah,
that was in the very beginning. and then I didn't and then for a while I didn't even feel any sort of way because I just ignored them. And then I heard about people using them again, and I had the attitude of like, oh, screw those, that's a bunch of trash, blah blah blah. And then I tried them, and god damn it, I like them.
Yeah. I had one, someone was like, use an expensive pump in your caulk reactor.
No.
And I did, and it failed quickly. And then I got a Jebao pump, and it like ran forever. Remember that 60-gallon I had on the floor that had that standing wave in it?
Yeah.
Then it was there for like
The
8 years.
mega wave. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just for my own entertainment. It had like a 4-inch wave in it.
It's
And
the
that was
heaviest wave I've ever been around in a
sweet.
home aquarium.
And it ran off that single Jebao R18 or something for the whole time. That pump never died.
Well, I have, you know, every pump fills a little niche, and man, I've used the SLWs, the one that looks like a puck. I've used
Yeah.
the gyres. I haven't done this yet, but the Jebao return pumps are supposed to be real popular. There's people out there like, oh, I've had them for 7 years, blah blah
Yeah.
blah years.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, hey, and when someone likes a product like that, it's so funny because the fanboys of the more expensive stuff, oh, that's shit. And it's like, okay, I mean, you can open your mouth, you can have an opinion, but it's just like, I'm here to tell you, as someone who used to despise Jabo, it is no longer shit. Now, which is funny because you look at Vectras and stuff like that. Vectras have problems here and there.
They all have.
They
There
all
is
do.
there is no magic bullet for anything. We kind of are. Everyone seems to be looking for like a set and forget solution for everything, and there kind of isn't. My version of set and forget for everything is use it till it dies and then put a new one on. And that's working out pretty damn well because I'm not spending time cleaning pumps, and they still are running for 4 or 5 years before I have to do anything to them. The only thing about the Jebao that I wish they did is they had some, and they do have an app now. The app's a little weird to find to make, because I love to have different flows throughout the day.
Oh, that's true.
And I'd love them to integrate with a controller better. They used to kind of do it. But besides that, yeah,
I mean, Aperture is not going to be cool with that.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what they can do about it. Well, that brings up another part of this, right? So you got the people who are like, woohoo, a cheap version of this pump. And then you've got other people, Buy American and, award innovation and, support the people who've been doing this for a long time. And a lot of people are not happy with Aperture. We know the conglomeration, the bringing together of everyone has had some effects that are not wonderful for the end user, and I love Neptune Systems gear, but it does seem like it is harder to get someone on the phone to help you really quick, or to get a question answered, or I do like their gear, and they're canceling some gear. They seem to be canceling the Sky, and they seem to be canceling the Wave Pump. And it's like, okay, I've got to do something else. So, it's one house now for all of your problems, right? So, and there's been on the Ecotech side, there's been problems with Mobius, kind of like legendary problems with the Mobius, and there some of the Radeon issues where they turn on in the middle of the night, that seems to be a persistent issue. But again, I'm not bagging on these products. I'm just talking the reality of these products. I like these products, and some people are not happy with Aperture for those kinds of reasons. So the argument seems to go for the idea of supporting a company that has done good for you kind of goes out the window when the company becomes a big faceless corporation instead of, people behind a desk that
Hey, Richard, let me get your take on this. I have one comment that I pulled off of the Reef Builders Salem posted about the Jabo.
Yeah.
One comment, and I thought it was interesting because Raj commented on this comment. I just want to read that real fast.
Read away.
Aaron,
And you got Raj's permission for this.
No, but I got the other guy's permission, so I won't say what Raj said.
Okay. Oh, I see. I got you. That's very cool that you got his permission.
I did it super fast, and he replied right before we came on.
Oh, sweet. Okay, read the comment.
So Aaron Felt says, I understand the need for lower price ways to do our hobby. I was a teenager posting instructions for building skimmers from Tupperware back in the day. But I think more Chinese-made ripoffs of American engineers' work is not good for us in the long term. As an engineer, it's developments like this that dissuades me from being interested in inventing anything new for our hobby at great financial risk to myself. If you think Ecotech's price is outrageous compared to this, I remind you the difference in wages, regulations, standards, labor practices between our two countries. Buy American used to be a thing. I don't buy into that always, but this is a pretty clear-cut contrast.
What do you think?
God, man, I'm so on the fence because, and I don't, I'm not like jingoistic. I love that I'm an American, but I don't go overboard with it. We are part of an entire world. It's not just the United States. China does its stuff.
We need a Reef Beef logo with an American flag on the beef.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I'm going to just read because it's quick. Raj's thing, because I know Raj will say it's fine.
Okay.
He's like that. He responded to it on Facebook. So he said,
it's public. We don't really need their permission.
Yeah,
it's public.
Nice. So Raj says, Aaron, as an American manufacturer, I agree 100%. I don't support patent violations from anyone. I understand people want to get the best deal they can, but supporting theft isn't the way.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's tricky. No, I'm just saying it is tricky. It's China. We're not exactly friendly with China. And they just sort of like rip off a product, but they haven't brought it to the United States yet.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be available on Amazon, and I'm not sure what's going on with the patent either.
Yeah, even in the comments section, it seems confusing. It's just like the game of telephone or just whatever. People just, oh, the patent's over. No, it's not. Oh, yeah, the patent is done. Oh, no, it isn't. And it's like,
yeah. And the other thing that I see is this seems like another case where the responsibility for everything falls on the end user. And I don't think that's fair, and the same with recycling, the same with water use in a drought, if 15% of the water use in California is residential and 85% is corporate,
who's the problem?
Me taking a short shower doesn't, it's good for me to do that still, but it's overwhelmed by the corporations or the bad players. So it's, is it my duty? Is it my role? Is it our ethical line in the sand to not purchase American stuff when we're going to Walmart and Target all the time and buying, shit from other country? You
can't live for more than 5 minutes without being a hypocrite on anything.
That's very true.
So take your pick.
It's also like, we are a global economy now. We're not. I like buying local from local people, but once a company goes corporation size and, it gets harder for me to feel like I owe them still. If they're making corporate money and they're buying expensive cars, and this comes from somebody who at the beginning, when Ecotech started, when they first had the first propeller pumps and there were other propeller pumps coming out, I remember sending them, hey, if you're not aware of this is happening. And they had their lawyers shut it down. And it's like, no, this seems fair. You are actively inventing this. And nobody else is doing anything like this, and you're being ripped off as we speak, right? But now, 15, 20 years later, it feels different to me. They've already got their lawyers, they've already got their patents, and it's also like, how long do you own music? if it, we can't, we have to find royalty free music. We paid for the music on our show, our theme music, and I think that's fair. But so what's my point about all this is that if there's a patent infringement, if there's something illegal going on, I look forward to Aperture and Ecotech going after Jebao and making them stop. I think that's the right way to go. I don't think it's hard for me to buy that it's my responsibility or the end user's responsibility
to not buy it or something.
To not buy it, because of that.
No, I agree with that totally.
So I don't know. What are some of the other arguments for or against that you read?
It was just a lot of, some of it was like, that's China, buy American. But it's like, but what other components of anything are not from China?
Right.
I hear that like the motors for Vortech, and I don't know if this is true, but in that comment section, it said the motors for Vortex are made in China, shipped over here, and then everything is assembled here in the United States.
Yeah.
So, I mean, literally everything I'm wearing and everything around me within the nearest 1,000 miles is made in China. So help me out here.
That whole thing about assembled in the US, remember there were some companies doing that for a while. And it's like, oh, come on. But, you and I are we get pretty squidgy when jingoistic stuff's happening.
I do, man. It's not that I'm not happy to be an American. It's just I'm not drinking poison Kool-Aid about it.
Yeah.
The worst argument in that comment section, absolutely, and several people engaged in it, is Jebao is crap. And I'm here to tell you, as a purveyor of fine goods, that not saying Jebao is fine goods, but it is not crap. I use it all the time.
Yeah, there was a lot like this one, the magnets are likely super cheap, resulting in erosion of the iron into your reef. I will never support this company. And I went, wait a minute. And then before it had already been nailed by other people. And it turned out the guy who did that has never used the product. So it's like, my gosh, you guys, and I remember,
that's just fanboying.
Saying the Ecotech stuff when it first came out was shit for the same kind of reasons. It's man, you can't just knee jerk say things suck.
There was another issue. There was another issue because an Ecotech employee waded into the comments section.
Oh,
and didn't lead in the front end with, "Hey, I work for them," and he got called out. And he did backpedal and say, "Okay, And Jim Graham Telegram was sort of like, "Hey, not to tell you how to live your life, but in this context, you lead with that."
Yeah, Jim's good at calling people out like that without being confrontational.
No, I love it because don't go and taint a conversation and you're like behind the curtain.
Yeah. That's that's why I keep dropping Reef Beef comments on Reef Builders pages. Hey, have you guys heard of this other podcast, Reef Beef?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. No, but it's weird. I felt a little it harkened back to when I was with Eco Aqualizer and I went on Reef Central and tried to wade into that forum and I was punching back for Eco Aqualizer and god damn, I got bludgeoned.
Yeah.
And it made me feel that little bit of way because it's like, you should just know, unless you're the official mouthpiece of the company, to just like not go getting in a street fight about the product.
Yeah, it's there's people whose job it is to have the street fight. It's don't let your identity become who you work for.
Yeah.
Like I did. Oh, and by the way, we're total hypocrites. In the past, I'm sure both Ben and I have done everything we are talking about not doing. It's just live and learn.
Just like I said, take a drink every time you're a hypocrite. We'll all be drunk in 5 minutes.
Live, laugh, and love.
Live, laugh, love.
So, and the best thing about this whole Jebao with their new pump thing is only a few people in the States have them already.
Yeah,
they're getting pretty decent reviews, and we'll see what happens. Tell us how we're wrong down in the comments.
I like Jebao products. If Ecotech is going to sue them, then go for it. There's no, look, there's no alternative for a Vortech style pump.
Right.
It's only a Vortech.
Right. I used to love the Vortex.
I still do, but every pump has its time and its place, can be used in a certain scenario.
Exactly. And the way I ended up reefing moved away from those pumps. I think if I do the giant tank, the MP60 becomes much more exciting to me.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing else really in that size.
Yeah.